Hello everybody. So today I thought I'd do a video about someone I've not covered before. I'm going to have to be a bit careful in the way I do it because of obviously videos getting taken down and flagged for whatever reason. So I'm going to refer to this particular chap as Mr. R. Now, I'm pretty sure you'll all be familiar with who he is. He was caught in the Ohio sting, and he's I think he's one of the most popular people that were caught in the show. Every time I say like popular, it's always a weird thing to say, isn't it, with regard to these people? But obviously, there are people that are more memorable. I think is a better way of putting it. Now, there's a few reasons. I think, number one, right, primarily, the guy's a teacher, yeah? That, obviously, is a massive thing, isn't it? You know, you don't need me to go into it too much, but just very briefly, you've got someone here who is in direct contact every day with the children that he's trying here to meet for this encounter. It raises a lot of questions. Something that we may go into later, either later in this video or another one, is that did he choose that vocation deliberately so that he was in contact with these children on a regular basis, or is it that when he became a teacher, these attractions that he had manifested themselves then, because he basically maybe was putting himself in positions where, you know, there was girls that he could see, and he was a bit weak-minded. He started to like what he saw, and then he developed a bit of an obsession. You know what I mean? It could be. It could have been the catalyst. He might not have intended for this vocation for that reason, but it may have been, you know, one of them. So it's interesting, and obviously lots of girls were in that position where they could have been potentially harmed by him or preyed upon. I believe I've read a story that someone refused to go to school or be in his class because he was like a bit creepy. Now, I do take those stories with a pinch of salt. I don't know, because it's very easy for people to come out of the woodwork when someone like him has been caught and say, "Oh yeah, he did this to me," you know, jump on the bandwagon for a bit of attention. It may be true, it may not, I don't know, but what you would say is, surely if this guy's gone to these lengths that he went to here, there would be some trace of it within the school. Surely someone would have picked up on it, so it may have credence. But anyway, let's just crack on with the footage.
The door's open!
Where are you?
Oh, I'm just gonna go finish getting ready. I'll be right there.
Straight away you'll be like, uh-oh. You'll be like, I'm out of here. But obviously, you know, we're saying this as seasoned To Catch a Predator viewers. We know what the drill is. I just cut the crap out of my toe. I need a Band-Aid. It's like, nope, I'm off.
I'll be right back. Just sit at the bar and I'll be right there.
Alright, well, I'll be out here.
Just take a seat.
Isn't it like, look at him like stood in the doorway waiting to come, and it's like the creepy old shadow monster. It's just fucking weird. The boogeyman. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking weird.
Come here.
Come here.
What? No, I promise I'll be right back.
No, come here.
I'll be right there.
Come
Just
here.
wait. Try to be able to teach it.
Actually, I want you to come here.
That's what I thought.
Would you have a seat right over there, please?
Now, this is quite an interesting point to me. He went, that's what I thought. So we always knew, you know, there was always hesitation, and we'll have a look at the chat log shortly, but there was always that part of him that knew, well, not knew, or he wouldn't have come. And that pisses me off when people say, I knew this was going to happen. No, you didn't. If you knew this was going to happen, you wouldn't have turned up, would you? You wouldn't have gone, well, I know I'm going to get labelled as a sex offender for the rest of my life, get put in prison, get put on national TV, but what the hell, I'll go anyway. You know, they suspected, but for whatever reason, their, what do you want to say, impulses, or whatever, they were stronger than, they overrode judgment. Which, you know, does, like, if you're, when you're attracted to someone, let's just say someone's attracted to a normal person, you know, your judgment is clouded. That's why they call it falling in love. They don't call it climbing in love, do they? You're falling in love. So your emotions are clouded and you're not thinking rationally. And of course, these guys have attraction to children, or, you know, girls of that age, 13, 14. Well, they are children, aren't they? So obviously, when they think that there's an opportunity to get what they want, their judgment is going to be a little bit clouded. So they're easier to manipulate, aren't they? Because they think they can see what, you know, they've got that attraction to the opposite sex, but their attraction is sort of, well, more perverted, obviously. But it's still there. It's still that attraction to the opposite sex. It's even, I would suggest, this is what's always fascinated me, it's like, I would suggest it's even stronger in their case. Part of the reason why I think some of these people are attracted to people of this age is power and control over them. Because they think they have total power and total control. Because of their age, they can get away with doing, you know, it's like exerting your power over someone, ultimately. Now, in sex, that is a massive thing anyway, of people of the same age and whatever, you know, I don't want to go into that, but, you know, some of the fetishes and whatever that people are involved with, it's all about power, isn't it, and control over the other person and things like that, you know, I want to be in control and all that. But with this, it adds another element to it, because it's basically a vulnerable person. What's interesting about this case for me is, generally speaking, your stereotypical view of what you might perceive as someone who preys on children is someone who's a bit seedy, maybe a bit of a loser, not really got a lot going for him, you know, maybe unemployed or a really shit job, not many friends, maybe not very good looking, not very good personality. But let's look at this guy. He's a teacher, so he's got a good job. He's married. I believe his wife left him a few days before before this particular incident. You know, pulls up in a decent car, obviously reasonably intelligent. And I mean, if there's any girls watching, you'll have to just comment. Is he a decent looking lad? He doesn't look to be a gargoyle, does he? So, you know, reasonable looking. Got a lot going for him. What the fuck is he doing this? What's Mr. R up to? So it's interesting. Like I said, is it that he put himself in this position at where he worked, and maybe he's always had this attraction, but that's just amplified it even more. And maybe he went in the chat rooms because he thought that going and trying to fulfill his fantasies in his school is far too risky. So he went into the chat room. And speaking of the chat room, let's have a look at the chat log, shall we? So this is the Mr. R chat log from Perverted Justice website. It's still up there. So he makes contact. What's that say? It's supposed to say Princess Danica. What's up, board chatting? You same. Watching some hoops. 26. She's exactly double the age of what this decoy is supposed to be. And, he's relatively young, 26, well, he is young, 26 years old. We have a lot of younger, Jess Stacey was in his early 20s, wasn't he? There's a lot of younger predators, but the majority of them are older, I would suggest. So he's very, he's very young. So, nice to meet you. What do you want to talk about? Anything is fine. I'm a teacher. So straight away, within the first few minutes, first 3 minutes or so, he's throwing that out there. Is he saying that to be trustworthy? To sort of, maybe he thinks that she will, because how many schoolgirls have crushes on the hot teacher or whatever. So maybe he's trying to play that role. He's thinking, you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm in Sincere. Cool. What you teach 6th grade? Monsters. Not much younger than you are. Now that I think about it. See, that'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it? If he said, now that I think about it, it's like it's not some kind of pre-planned event, otherwise he'd know exactly what he was dealing with. So is that particular statement just a bit of a clever tactic to draw her in? Do you understand what I mean? Am I making any sense there? What I'm trying to say is not much younger than you, I think about it. But of course he's going to seek the people of this age, so it seemed like a bit of an odd thing to say. I'm not a monster though, they aren't either, I just like calling them that. What do you do for fun? I play softball and draw, and I like to ride my bike. So what are you doing today? Blah 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 blah. What's your MySpace? It's quite a long chat log, isn't it? This, so I'm not going to cover it in any great detail, because this video is mainly about the footage. But maybe another video, I can go into the chat log in more detail if anybody, if there's enough people want to watch that and it's interesting enough. I've still not done the finished the Veterage chat log yet. I forgot about that. I'm a slut. Okay, well, that's kind of interesting. Maybe what if I wanted to kiss you? So it does obviously get kind of interesting. You look a little younger but totally cute. If I remember from the footage on the show, it's the uncut footage that I've got here. I had to courtesy of the Happening channel. On the show, they had the decoy was on webcam and flashed the stomach, if you remember. So it might be interesting to sort of go into the chat in more detail and see how that played out as well. Makes me happy. Let's just go right to the end. Okay. Hey, I just called you to see if you wanted to come up, but you didn't answer. Guess I won't then. Hey, you there? You playing with me? Yeah, right. Okay, let's go back to the footage.
I just came to hang out, really.
You came to hang out.
Yeah.
And you...
You see, it's kind of interesting as well. When he was at the door and he was like, oh, that's what I thought. And he went straight in there and sat down. It's interesting, isn't it? It's the fight or flight thing, isn't it? And obviously he decided to fight in a way. Most people leg it. If I was in that position, I'd hope that I'd just run off, because I don't understand what him talking it out is going to achieve. And what's interesting as well is, I'm sure I'm on camera or something, so he kind of knows what's going on. It's interesting, isn't it?
Came to hang out with.
I had a feeling this was what was going on, honestly.
He did have a feeling what was going on, but I think that he's an intelligent guy. He understood straight away. He thought he was on camera or something like that because, Chris turns up in his suit. He's piecing it together already. It's the signs of an intelligent guy. But like I said earlier, these attractions and impulses that overrode his judgment. He was like not thinking clearly, which obviously happens in these cases. But yeah, you have someone in the bowling green sting, the bowling green sting. I'll say that again. Who was like, I can tell you're a therapist. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like, he really didn't figure that out at all, did he? You know what I mean?
You had a feeling what was going on?
That this was some sort of setup.
A setup. A setup for what?
I don't know, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't...
Great question, innit? A setup for what? And it's like, we were talking about the fight or flight thing. He sat down and he originally, I just came to hang out. So he's not doing anything. He's pleading his innocence. His first thing is, right, I'll see if I can talk my way out of this, which is kind of naive, really. But of course, your brain, even a really intelligent guy, the most intelligent guy that was caught on this, you might say, was the research doctor. But obviously, he legged it, didn't he? He didn't decide to. His fight or flight was fucking off. You know what I mean?
I didn't come here for anything physical. I just was bored. I'm going through a divorce. I just wanted to get out of the house.
That is a cracking excuse, that, innit? I just wanted to get out of the house, so I know what I'll do. I won't go to the cinema. I won't go to a bar. I'm not going to grab a coffee and read a book. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go to a 13-year-old's house after a sexually charged conversation. That'll get me out of the house. Yes, Mr. R. I mean, in theory, it has got him out of the house, so what he's saying is true from a certain point of view.
Honestly.
So you couldn't go to a sports bar to watch a game, or you
I've been
couldn't go
doing
to
that all
a pal's
weekend,
house?
man.
And so you thought you'd come here to this house?
I knew it wasn't a good idea from the get-go.
Who did you think you were going to meet here?
This kid I've been talking to.
This kid.
Straight away, this kid I've been talking to, so it's like straight away, no sort of unsureness. I've just made that word up. Nothing unclear there about whether he thought this person was young or old, but obviously I'm pretty sure he's starting to figure out that he's got the chat log. So how many times have we seen it in the past where people will just blatantly lie and say, no, I thought she was older, even though it's in front of them. Even though it's in front of them in the chat log, that they are having conversations about the age of the person. Some of them still deny it.
I know she's a kid.
How old?
13, 14.
13. And
I find that kind of interesting as well. He's going to know she's 13. He's not going to know and think, she's 13 or 14, but it's kind of like brushes it off, 13 or 14. A lot of them say that, like they don't, it's like too much of a leap for them to say that they 100% knew how old that person was, even though it makes no fucking difference whatsoever. They still are 13, 14, 15. I'm not quite sure that I think it's because if they were to say, yes, 13 and I know 100%, it adds another element of guilt onto the situation. That's my take on it anyway.
how old are you?
Too old for a 13, 14-year-old.
Too old. And how old is that?
26.
26. And you thought it was okay to come over here to visit a 13-year-old girl home alone?
No, I really didn't.
But you're here.
I know. I don't know why.
What's your name?
My name's Jim.
Jim what?
Do I have to say?
I'm going to find out.
Am I going to get arrested for this?
That's not up to me.
Are you going to turn me in?
Again, that's not up to me.
I mean, I really...
Are you going to turn me in? So, Has he 100% pieced together what's been going on?
What do you do for a living, Jim?
I'd rather not say.
Jim?
I'd rather not say.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, this is a common thing that I talk about, and it is probably the singular reason why I got interested. I was going to say obsessed then. I mean, maybe with To Catch a Predator is when some Schadenfreude to a certain extent. What goes through these guys' heads when they realise what's happened? That it's like everything, the whole life. It's kind of like the whole life's being destroyed in a way. I believe I've heard. I don't know whether it's true that he's remarried. Mr. R. I don't know whether that's the case or not, but as I understand it, he seems to have got on with his life. Yeah, but just to have, you think about it for somebody like him, he's got everything to lose. Well, I say everything. It seems that his wife's already done one. But he's got his career to lose, his reputation, maybe loads of his friends, some of his family. I mean, I can't imagine a worse situation to be labelled what he's about to be, to be like a registered sex offender. Having to face the people at school. It's crazy. Just as a kind of anybody that's interested, please watch a film. Well, if you want to, of course. You're looking to watch a movie that's in relation to stuff like this. There's a film called The Hunt with Mads Mikkelsen. It's a foreign movie. Most of it's in subtitles. I don't know what the native language is. I think is he Danish or Dutch? I think he might be Danish. But anyway, The Hunt. I think it's 2012. But you know what? It's brilliant. It just shows what life would be like if you got accused of this. And obviously it's Hollywood. It's a bit extreme. But yeah, just a quick recommendation if you want to watch that. And maybe I'll do a video about it sometime.
Why don't you just tell me where you work?
Who do you work for?
I'll get to that in a minute.
No, I'd really like to know. I'm sure I'm on TV or something right now.
Why don't you just tell me what you do for a living?
See, like you said there, I'm sure I'm on TV or something. I don't quite understand why you'd stay. I think it's just facing up. You're just thinking, right, I'm in this mess. Let me face up to it. Let me get the worst over with. It's like confronting. It's kind of being brave in a way. I was going to say it's admirable, but I don't want to say anything's admirable about someone in this situation. But I think it shows a certain degree of courage, because you've got to face. I think he's wise enough to know that he can't shy away from this. He's trying to deal with it and get it over with in a way. In my opinion, from a legal perspective, clearly the wisest thing to do is just fuck off and then speak to your legal team and see if you can come up with some kind of crazy defence. But yeah,
I'm a teacher.
You're a teacher. And what
some kind of crazy defence. Can you imagine, right, if you were like sat there with some right, okay, we need to come up with some crazy plan. Right, okay, what if you say that you was rehearsing a play, that you've been given some part in a new play and that you had to practice it by pretending that you was going to get caught on. No, that's just fucking stupid. Right, you're fired. You know what I mean? Like the crazy stories that you could come up with. I know, why don't we say that you got kidnapped and they made a clone of you, and then that clone of you turned up and that company has now found that clone and now you're the one getting the heat. No, that's fucking stupid. They're never going to believe that.
Great.
It'd be like that, have you seen the Simpsons clip where they do shitloads of redos of it on YouTube? If you type it in, it's steamed hams. It's that one where Superintendent Chalmers goes to Skinner's house and goes, Superintendent Chalmers, I hope you're ready for an unforgettable luncheon. And he's like, he just, everything goes wrong and he just comes out with crazy fucking excuses. It'd be like that, wouldn't it? It says, good Lord, what is happening in there? Aurora Borealis. Aurora Borealis. It's like, it just comes out with shit. Anyway, sorry.
So you teach kids about the same age as the girl you were coming to see.
I would never do anything. I don't know why I'm here. Can I go?
No, not just yet.
Are the police here?
Again,
Sir, please just tell me.
I have some more questions for you. There's nothing I can do to keep you here, but I have some more questions for you.
See, there's nothing I can do to keep you here, but I have some more questions for you. But he's still sitting there.
Are the police here?
Could be that he doesn't want to go outside at this point. I think maybe the initial reaction is to face the problem, and then you get caught into a situation where, you know, you kind of don't want to leave because you know your kind of life's over with as soon as you do. And there are a few that have that are in that position, aren't there?
I have to talk to you about some of the things that you
I
said.
have to talk to you.
Okay.
You were on your webcam, showing off in front of this 13-year-old girl.
I know.
And the conversation you had with this girl
It was bad. I know. I don't know why. I need help.
You're cute too. Definitely have a pretty face. For jailbait. Laugh out
I knew
loud.
it was wrong. I knew it was wrong. I'm sorry.
I could be your teacher. Would you flirt with me?
Oh
He says,
dear,
"Look at you."
Mr. R.
So, okay, cute. You'd like that. I'd be flattered. Not like that's a bad thing. Innocent enough.
So, guys, there's a lot for me to get my teeth into with this, depending on, you know, how these videos do with regards to getting taken down and my harassment and bullying tendencies. We'll see how they come into play. And obviously, if anybody enjoys it and interested in more videos, there's a lot. I mean, I'm basically 4 minutes and 29 seconds into the footage here. So, and it's 36 minutes long, so I've got shitloads to do, and I've not done the chat log as well, so that might be interesting. So guys, just let me know if you've enjoyed the video, and I'll speak to you soon.